Everybody hands go up.
Somebody get Lauren.
And they stay there. And they say yeah. And they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the
Fuck you,
air.
James.
Say that.
Fuck you.
Ludacris going in on the verse.
That one right there is for my dog Lauren with the dub. I'm talking crazy, crazy win this week. Week 2 matchup, Butts and Stuff League. Hey, what's up? Week 2 matchup or week 2 recap. We're not gonna call this week 2. We're gonna call this the upset heard around the world. I'm talking bigger than Boston coming back from 3-0. I'm talking bigger than the Mean Machine beating the Guards. Bigger than Rocky beating Apollo and that big ass Russian dude. Bigger than Space Jam. Looney Tunes beating the Monstars. Bigger than that. Bigger than Appalachian State. My dog Lauren with the dub over Wilson. Suck it, dude. That, my friends, is what fantasy football is all about. My dog Lauren. Congratulations. So, jump into matchups. Just go ahead and get right into it because we're already talking about the win of the week. My dog Lauren topped Will 110.9 to 90.7 in the That Ezekiel Doesn't Exist to Lauren's People Either matchup. The joke about him being a Jew. Thomas beat Rob 101.3 to 77.3, and the Bush didn't hesitate to help with this one matchup. Dan squeaked by Scam 74.5 to 71.5, and that's going to end up as a yeast infection matchup. I beat James, the matchup we're not going to talk a whole lot about because I let my guys on the field do all the talking. Unlike you and your scrub ass James. I beat James 97.6 to 83.1 in the I wasn't even getting that close to Morgan D's matchup. Mitch pummeled iJams. Just beat the living hell out of him. 117 to 80.2 in the Our President would probably grab that too matchup. Then lastly, Graham topped Charlie 81.3 to 73.5, and I'm still not entirely sure what Charlie's team name means, but it happens to everyone, Graham. Take that as you will. So that was our matchups for the week. Congratulations to all those teams. Got a few 2-0s still lurking out there, and we'll get to that. But first, we're going to go ahead and, after the matchups, jump into weekly MVP. So shout out to Mitch. Been talking some mad shit about you, bro, because I hate your existence. But the weekly MVP high scorer is going to be Mitch with the 117 points. He had 6 players with 10-plus points, including 26 by Crabtree. We'll get to that dude in a second. He only had 2 players under 8 points, despite now having 3 questionable players in Murray, West, and Gronk. So that could be going down pretty quickly, and that's probably why he's still trying to trade rate people, despite being the weekly MVP. So anybody Mitch offers you in a trade, probably not a good look right now. So that was the weekly MVP, but I am going to give again this whole video is about shouts out to my dude Lauren for beating the shit out of Wilson. Even when you are 2-0 and freaking 2, I still hate everything about you. So complimentary MVP, my dude Lauren. Way to go. You deserved MVP in my mind. You only had 7 less points than our MVP anyway, really 6. So weekly dunce, it could have gone to several people. Dan had 74.5, even though we won. Rob had 77.3, Charlie had 73.5, and Sam had 71.5. But weekly dunce isn't going to any of them. Weekly dunce goes to Wilson. Because I fucking hate you. So, weekly dunce, Wilson, 0-2. Might be your year to take the SAT, pal. Starting to look that way. Jump from the weekly MVP and dunce into the luck factor if you've not been following Graham's deal. He's been posting. It is pretty cool to look at and kind of see how everything shakes up. And as the season develops, I don't think we introduced it to like the 9th or the 10th week last year. So it'd be nice to see, cool to see how that develops over the season. So right now, where it stands, Graham is the luckiest guy in our league. Just kind of ironic given all of his relentless bitching. So ride your luck while it lasts, dude. Like, stop trying to change shit. So Graham's the luckiest. Then it goes Dan, Thomas, me, and Charlie. As far as we have a percentage of, a small smidgen of adjusted wins per the stat right now, even though we're only 2 weeks in. And then Sam is going to be the unluckiest. Then it goes Wilson, who's also 0-2 with Sam, Rob, who is 0-2, and then Lauren and Mitch, who are 1-1. And right there, smack dab in the middle, is iJams, who is justifiably 0-2, no adjusted wins or losses. He's just very fairly been beaten 2 games in a row, so he gets the record he deserves. So that's the luck factor. Do need to be jumping into that. It is posted on our message board. Follow that. It's kind of cool. We're going to stay on the topic of standings and whatnot, just to kind of hit it since we are 2 weeks in. Talk about our top scoring teams first. Top scoring team so far this year is James. He's at 198.1 total points scored, despite being 1-1. He's putting up good numbers. Just getting scored on a lot. Then it goes Thomas at 192.7, me at 192.4. Lorne, dog showing out, man. 181.7, Wilson at 178.5, and then Chuck at 170.7. Notice Wilson is the only one that is 0-2 on that list, but that's because he's also leading us in the top scored against statistic. Everybody's bringing their A game for Wilson, and they're bringing it by a landslide. Number one scored against, like I said, Wilson at 225.9 points against, so he's getting beat by like roughly 50 points. I'm not good at math. He's right at like 50 points on the 2 weeks. Rob coming in second at 198.4, then James at 185.4, as I previously mentioned. I've got 177.3 scored against me. I've just squeaked by with a couple of wins. iJams at 175.5, and then sixth place is right there between Lauren and Mitch at 171.9 and 171.6 respectively. So that's top scored against, something kind of cool to keep an eye on, and it corresponds very tightly. It's kind of simplified by Graham's stats, so we might eliminate this as we go forward. But for right now, that's how we're going to wrap up where we're at so far in the week. Jumping into next week very briefly before we get into the top scores. Next week matchups, you got the battle of the 2-0s between Graham and Thomas. Going to be a cool matchup right there. And then Dan takes on Will in a championship rematch, trying to send himself to 3-0 and send Wilson to 0-3, which I don't remember the last time that happened to Wilson. So it will be a joyous freaking day to see Wilson at 0-3. So go to him. I have Lauren, so you're no longer my nigga. That stops right here. Fuck you, I'm going to embarrass you. Your mother is not even going to want to speak to you for a month after you take this ass kick. And rounding out the matchups, Mitch has got Rob, Sam takes on James, and then Chuck goes up against iJams. Excuse me. That's next week's matchups. Talk about top scorers real fast. I don't know why this didn't interest me this week. But it's kind of cool to see Brady, even though I do hate the Patriots. Coming at the top scoring quarterback, he had 30.8 against the Saints, put up 447 yards and 3 TDs for Graham's team. Just back to form and kind of silence some haters right there for Tom Brady. Top scoring running back was C.J. Anderson, who's on Wilson's team. He put up 27.4 against the Cowboys, 118 and a touchdown on the ground, and 36 yards and a touchdown in the air as well. So a nice little week returning back to what we saw from C.J. Anderson 2 years ago. Could be a sign of things to come. Especially the way Trevor Siemian's throwing the ball. Jesus Christ, I'm kind of waiting for somebody to pick that guy up. Michael Crabtree. I used to speak with a speech impediment. My name used to be Andu Ortiz. I was the cutest kid in the whole wide world. I couldn't say my R's. So there's your daily confession from your commissioner. Michael Crabtree, top scoring wide receiver with 26 points for Mitch. Did so against the Jets. 3 touchdowns on only 6 receptions. So half of his catches were in the end zone, which is kind of cool. 80 yards, 26 points for Crabtree. Top scoring tight end was Gronk, even though he is questionable for the coming week. 17.6 versus the Saints. Benefit of course, Tom Brady's stellar game, 116 yards and 6 receptions and a touchdown. Top scoring defenses, 2 of them, Lions, who were on waivers, and then the Buccaneers, who played for Mitch. Both put up 18 versus the Giants and the Bears, respectively. Both scored touchdowns, both had interceptions and fumble recoveries. Just a pretty dominant game. Picking up anybody that's playing against the Giants seems to be a pretty good going rate. I think Eli Manning might be out of the league before Tom Brady is, which I guess is not extremely surprising. But he kind of sucks right now. And then top scoring kicker was Chris Boswell. He was on waivers. He put up 16 points against Minnesota. And matter of fact, 3 of the top 5 kickers were on waivers, and 6 out of the top 10 kickers were on waivers this week. So I think that's, it looks like it's just our league, but I think that's all leagues that kickers just don't typically put up consistent enough numbers for that to be very predictable. That's the top scores on the week. Kind of been pretty stat based. We'll get into a few notes right here on the week. First of all, 6 votes is weak. It's weak sauce. It's a easy thing to click a button. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. It's not like it takes that much time to do a poll as it does to do a video. But voting the poll, man. Let's just be an active league. I like the idea of being a prestigious league that everybody participates in. So do that shit. It's not that hard. Just gonna touch on it very briefly because I did touch on it in a kind of joking manner. But if you've got rule suggestions for the coming years, start a note in your phone. Get a notepad, something. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. I know I sound like a dick on the group me, and I really am being a dick on the group me because I'm a dick in real life. But if you've got ideas about some rule changes and the propositions, back pocket those. I'm happy to listen to them in the off season, but we're in season rule changes and whatnot. I don't see any need in stirring that up. If you have all these ideas, I'll surely listen to them, and we'll do like we do everything else. I've always been happy to put things to a vote. I'm just not going to do so in the middle of the season, even if it is only week 3, however you see it. So I hope that seems like a fair compromise there. Like I said, I don't want to come off as just an absolute ass. But that's the only way we're going to go about that. So that's put to bed. We're done with that. Other things, my opinion's in my butthole. Mitch, it's where it lives. And that's where I shove each of them. Because I have lots. I have lots of thoughts on things. So that's why my opinion is in my butthole. Thanks for that suggestion. Sam fucks little girls, evidently. Really need to kick him out of the league pretty soon. But I'm enjoying watching him get the shit kicked out of him, so I think that's punishment enough. So there happened that. On that note, Dan teetered on an award this week. Came awful close, and you kind of censored yourself a little bit. I don't know if that's adulthood creeping up on you, or you're afraid you were going to get kicked out too. But real close to an award right there, Dan. So keep on working, pal. The SAT taker being drunk is still a motion. I saw that it was seconded before Thomas decided to go all cops on us. Like, who the fuck are you, dude? Like, I don't know why you gotta sit here and piss on everybody's fun. I'll be drunk at a high school if I want to be drunk at a high school. I'll be drunk tailgating in the parking lot for whoever's taking the SAT, so you might as well be drunk taking it too. So that motion is still up in the air. Look to maybe put that to a vote sometime soon. Will can't spell poopy. There's only 2 O's in that word, dude. So I don't know if that's part of your stutter or what, but learn how to fucking spell. On one of Graham's messages about the luck factor, scoring more than your projected score isn't lucky, and that might have just been a misuse of words. But just because somebody scores more than their projected, that's not lucky. That's just kind of fantasy. Projections aren't set in stone. So I get the luck factor, but I don't think luck has to do with projected score. I think that's just a little thought about that. You can take that for what it's worth. And then Dan got his pee-pee touched. Go you, dude. Pee-pee, I guess, is what eggplant means. I'm not really good in the whole emoji thing. I'm not in with the times. But good for you, dude. You got your pee-pee touched. That's awesome. It's more than I had happen to me the past couple of days. Been touching my own pee-pee a lot here lately. And then lastly, I like Chuck's new wife. I'm a fan. Charlie, can't wait to meet her. Hope you bring her to tailgate this weekend. Pass her around a big old bowl of cookies. I'd like to have a bite of that myself. That's it. That's a long ass video. Sorry. I keep thinking of cooler things we can keep adding to the video, so I won't keep you any longer. But thank you guys for watching. Good luck this week. Waiver wire has been pretty inactive. I think everybody's kind of satisfied with what they've got right now, kind of waiting out the season. I'm a week 4 guy for trades, so if you're looking to make a deal, I'll wait until the end of week 4. So Mitch, you can stop sending me stupid ass requests because I'm not going to accept anything until at least week 4. Like I said, good luck. See you guys figuratively on the group chat, and we'll talk to you on a later date. Go Nears. See you this weekend.